What's up, guys? Hullie the Kid, and this is episode 3 of Welcome to Hullie's World, or Inside Hullie's World. Excuse me. I've been slacking on this series. That I apologize for that. I haven't had a lot of time to delve into many topics that I wanted to kind of go into, but I finally was able to take a little bit of time out and really sit down and go into a topic that really means a lot to me. So especially being that it is around that time, which is Black History Month. I know it's become not controversial, but it's a lot of people like, a lot of people approve of it. Some people don't approve of it. It is what it is. But the reason I am talking about this subject is because over the years I've kind of seen a digression in the importance or in the effect of what Black History Month is. So just to give a couple of you all, some background on what Black History Month is, for those of you all who don't really know. I know a lot of people might say, okay, Black History Month is a celebration of one race, one culture. Yeah, it's true, but just to kind of give you a little bit of background, it started in 1926 with Carter G. Woodson. He and his group of people, they chose the month, or it actually started out as Negro History Week. And the reason why the month of February was chosen, it was done to sort of recollect on the lives of Abraham Lincoln, or it was done in that month or in that time period because of Abraham Lincoln and because of Frederick Douglass. So, who are two, very prominent people in the African, even though Abraham Lincoln was not an African American, he was very prominent in the ascension of the African American race in American society. So, a lot of people will say that, well, he freed the slaves. Nah, he didn't free the slaves, but he wrote the Emancipation Proclamation, which basically did away with slavery. To an extent. It didn't necessarily free the slaves, but it was the first real attempt by the American government, by the United States government, to rid the country of slavery. So that's why it was done in February. I know a lot of people are gonna, over the last couple of years or so, people have been complaining, well, why is Black History Month got to be the shortest month of the year and all this other stuff? It was chosen by our own people. So, don't be so critical about, a celebration or a recognition so much to where you forget the point of it, or forget why it's even, celebrated. So, so it was actually, it was federally, what's the word I'm looking for? Recognized by the United States government in 1976, which made it, they made it into an official month, like a national holiday month in 1976. And the federal government, the first what's the word I'm looking for? The first celebration of it was done at Kent State University in 1970. And 6 years later, they finally recognized it as a national holiday in the nation. So that's how Black History Month ascended from Negro History Week. So just to give you all just a little bit of background on that, so you wouldn't be, kind of confused on how everything really goes about. But either way, I've noticed over the years growing up and talking to different people, it's a lot of people, in my community, the people that I've spoken with, Black people, basically, just so you all can get a better understanding. Some Black people, they don't really care for Black History Month anymore. Not like when I remember growing up, Black people, we loved, the idea of, Black History Month, because it gave you the opportunity to recognize the heroes and the people of our culture that did a lot and had the opportunity to make a difference. I think it's become somewhat watered down, I guess, over the years. Not necessarily watered down, but I think it's kind of lost its prominence in a culture because as it's both good and bad because it shows that the African American culture is somewhat getting more integrated with the entire American culture, which is always a good thing. But I think that more people are trying to not alienate the African American race or the African or the whole idea of Black History Month, but they don't. It makes them uncomfortable almost. And what I mean by that is, I know by Black people saying that we shouldn't even celebrate Black History Month because why we only get a month, and why is it that we only celebrate it one time a year when it should be celebrated all year. I mean, that's true. I think people want it to be integrated into the American, into quote unquote American history, which it should. I'm not saying that it shouldn't, but I don't think people should overlook the entire fact of what it stands for. Actually, in my own personal opinion, I believe that African American history. I think more of the actualities of African American History Month, or the whole reason why it's there. I think it should be spoken on or expounded on a little bit more. I know everybody basically knows, Dr. Martin Luther King, his, what he's done in our community, back in the 60s, back in the 50s. I know that's the first person people really think about when they hear Black History Month, just, oh, Martin Luther King, I have a dream, which I do not misconstrue what I'm saying. What he did during that time was very, very influential and very prominent. However, I think that a lot of people, they try to delve it down so much and water it down so much to where it isn't as abrasive as it is. Because I've had this conversation with a few of my coworkers, and the subject at hand was, should we celebrate? Should we celebrate it? And it's, yeah, why? I mean, why shouldn't you? I think that people want to celebrate the what's the best word? People want to celebrate the successes of different African American people, and I think that people don't want to realize the things that happen, or the bad things that happen. I know a lot of in that during the time. If you can go back to say 50s, 60s, 70s, there was a lot of racial tension during those times, and I think people don't want to bring that back up when they think about Black History Month, and I think that's a lot of the quarrels that people may be having with this whole idea of, well, why do we have to bring this up? Why do we have to celebrate this? Celebrate what people went through and all this other stuff. Why do we have to go back through with all this? And it's somewhat, the best way I can describe it is people want to be oblivious to what actually happened during a specific time period. I'm not saying, glorify the bad things that happened, but you can't ignore the fact that it did happen. And I think that's what a lot of people in today's society, and I mean in America period, not just African American, not just in regards to African Americans, but in regards to anything that may, incriminate a people for what they did in the past, and people don't really want to think about or bring up what they might have done or what their ancestors may have done to a certain people, which is understandable. But at the same time, you can't just ignore the fact that it did happen. I think that Black history has kind of lost a lot of impact in today's society, because a lot of people, especially you compare it back to years ago, or years back in the day when the African American like the entertainers and stuff, they were really pro African American, I guess you could say. Like look back at certain shows back in the 90s, like A Different World or Cosby Show, or or shows to that extent. They really pushed for positivity in an African American culture. But most black shows that you see now, they're really trash. The ones that at least get the most promotion, they're really, really trash. They just promote drama and all this other stuff. But you know, that's a story for a whole other day. I'm probably gonna have to do a part 2 to this because I have a lot to expound on this subject. So hope you all enjoy it. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think. See you.